I'm back with another album review. I've already reviewed and ranked all the albums by Creed. Now, the next part of my album review series will focus on the solo work by Scott Stapp. Most people only know of him for being the frontman for Creed, and he was with Art of Anarchy from 2016 to 2017. However, not as many people know about his solo career. That being said, today's review is on The Great Divide, which was his first solo album. Before this, he released a song called Relearn Love, which was made for the Passion of the Christ soundtrack. Granted, I haven't seen that movie, nor have I listened to the soundtrack. Anyways, Scott received help from John Kurzweig when producing the album. He also received help from Ron Saint-Germain when it came to the mixing. Both those guys had previously worked with Creed. The co-producer was John D. Thomas. Bob Ludwig had mastered the album. The album was released on November 22nd, 2005 on Wind Up Records, which makes sense because Creed was also signed on to that same label. Alter Bridge was also with that label at the time. Now, Scott was not the only musician in the studio because the solo band also consisted of Aristais Rincon on lead guitar, John Curry on rhythm guitar, Mitch Berman on bass, and Mark Archer on drums. Now let's talk about the songs. This album starts with Reach Out. Just going in, you can clearly tell this album is mostly centered around hard rock and alternative metal. The song alone also contains some of Creed's signature style. The next track is Fight Song. My dad sometimes plays this song on his radio show. After that is Hard Way. I think this is one of the best songs on this album, and it's another song that my dad often plays on his show. Next up is Justify, which was released as a single in May of 2006. This is yet another song that my dad sometimes plays on his show. Up next is Let Me Go. I'd say this is another one of my favorite songs from this album. That's followed up by Surround Me, which was released as a single on Halloween of 2006. I think this song has to do with when Scott was in a dark place around that time. We followed up with The Great Divide, which was released as a single on September 26, 2005. Of course, this is the title track for the album. A music video was made, and there's a link in the description. What comes next is Sublime. I think this song is supposed to be about finding a way to carry on. The second to last track is You Will Soar. I say this song is quite memorable. The ending of this album is Broken. The song has a softer tone compared to the rest of the songs, and I say that ends the album quite well. When researching this album, I read that it peaked at number 19 on the Billboard 200 and number 21 on the US rock albums. It was also number 29 in New Zealand. And what's really impressive is that the album was certified platinum by the RIAA. Although it wasn't as successful as any of the studio albums that Creed made before this, it's still enough to be considered a success. Occasionally a used copy will be donated to my store. When it comes to the critics, there were mixed reactions. However, Cross Rhythms, which is a Christian media organization from England, had given it a 9 out of 10. Now for my thoughts. I think this is a good album. It really shows that Scott was able to continue his music career as a solo artist while retaining some of Creed's signature style. I mentioned that they did get back together in 2009 and release a new album that same year, but they split up again in 2012. The following year is when Scott released his second solo album. Now, more on that in the next episode. Overall, I recommend checking out this album. Now's the part where I question you. Have you listened to The Great Divide? If so, what do you think about it? What's your favorite song from it? How would you compare this album to Creed's material? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to press the notification bell to be notified of future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with another video.